Okay, super short lecture on the first 13 slides of our macromolecule unit. Why we are studying this is you are made of a collection of cells. You are a multicellular organism, and your health basically comes down to healthy cells. So what are cells made of? What are the big molecules that make up a cell? It's actually on nutrition labels. So if you read a nutrition label on any food item, it always includes fat, carbohydrates, and proteins. That's because of the four main molecules that your cells are made of. Three of those are things that we eat. So do we eat nucleic acids? Yes, we do, because if you are eating a plant or an animal, you are eating that organism's cells, which means you are eating the DNA and RNA in that organism. It's just not part of a nutrition label because nucleic acids are crazy tiny molecules and they probably don't have any calorie weight or nutrition benefits. But you do eat them, you break them down and reuse those parts in your cells. So what is a macromolecule? Macro means big. They are made of things called polymers, and a polymer is made of a monomer. So let's look at what those words mean here. So the word macro means big. When you eat a Big Mac, you're actually eating a big because macro means big. So kind of dumb. Mono means one, which is like monogamy when we are married to one person for life. And poly means many. So there are some cultures and religions, even in our country, that allow for polygamy. So they're allowed to be married to many people. Anyway, what is a mer? So macromolecules are made of big polymers. So they're made of big, many mers. A mer just means a member of a group. It's a simple generic word that means a member of a group. Okay, so these four macromolecules, the first one is carbohydrates. You need to know what is in your notes, and that is that we find carbohydrates in cell walls and cell membranes, which is why fruits and vegetables are so full of carbohydrates because they are cell walls. Those carbohydrates are simple like sugars, or they're complex carbs, and that's our fibers. So here's you're getting your fibers from the cell wall. So fibers are a form of carbohydrate. They are good for us. Lipids or fats are the main part of cell membrane. So in the 70s, the whole health craze was, oh, let's not eat fats and that'll keep us all super skinny and healthy. Well, they were very wrong because not having fat in our diet, we weren't providing the nutrients that we needed to make every cell membrane. And we know a lot more about nutrition now. We know about healthy fats and not healthy fats, but we do need fats so that we can keep building cell membranes. Proteins are molecules that are synthesized from other things, but they are super important. They are also part of a cell membrane, and we will learn that they help with transportation. Proteins are kind of cool. When they are made, they are just a long chain of their monomer, which is an amino acid. This protein goes into the endoplasmic reticulum. So remember that ribosomes make proteins. Ribosomes sit on that rough ER. So the ribosome makes this chain. It shoots it into the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum folds it into a very particular shape. So we're going to talk a lot about proteins later. This is just a little heads up. They start out as, I like to think of it as a pearl necklace, and then they get all tangled up, but the shape of this tangled up mess is very important. We will come back to that. So the fourth macromolecule are nucleic acids. That is simply a fancy word for DNA and RNA. We remember that because they are found in your nucleus. RNA actually starts in the nucleus. It's made by the nucleolus. So deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid, they are acids found in the nucleus. And those two types again, DNA and RNA, and that is it. I need to see what slide I'm on. Okay, so cell membrane is made of fats, and this is what we're going to focus on. The cell membrane actually looks like this. It's called a phospholipid bilayer. These legs are fatty legs, and this head is a phosphate head. And this orientation of this two layers of a phospholipid is how we have a cell membrane. So your cell membrane actually looks like a sandwich. It has an outside, a big inside, and another outside. So this structure is super important for how a membrane can work. And these are the more detail of what that membrane looks like. So I just took a piece of a cell membrane here. We have this phospholipid bilayer with the fatty legs and the phosphate head. Proteins are channels that go through the membrane. Carbohydrate chains stick on the outside, and they do cell signaling, and they talk to other cells for us and bring in other molecules. So this structure is how cells chemically control what can go into and out of the cell. So this cell membrane is actually part of the big circle. We just took off a piece of its skin. This out here would be the outside of the cell. This is the inside of the cell. And we will learn next week how this structure determines how a cell membrane can decide what goes in and out. Super exciting. See you next time.